Welcome back to the channel. I am Andy Stevenson for SevereMMA, and I'm joined by King Carl McNally, who's just signed for KSW on a multi-fight contract and will make his promotional debut this Saturday, August 20th, in Poland. Carl, how are you, sir?
I am fantastic. Thank you very much for asking. Couldn't be better, to be honest. Having a great fight week so far, but I'll get angrier throughout the week. Don't worry. Once this weight starts coming down a bit more.
Yeah, especially if you spill any more coffee just before starting an interview.
As you started introducing me there, that's why I looked down because I thought I'd spilled this over myself.
You'll just drop and smash that next.
On the number two, anyway.
Yeah, Carl, look, a great opportunity in front of you this weekend, and especially signing for KSW. Kind of came out of nowhere. I feel like this was a bit of a surprise to me. Was it a surprise to you signing with the promotion?
Well, I've known about it for about 9 or 10 weeks. So I have, don't get me wrong, it was a surprise. I was lying on my sofa. I wasn't in the full training that I was in before. And Danny texts me and says, KSW's interested in you for a fight. And I just says, there's my summer ruined. It's okay, no problem. And he says, right, yep, be in the gym every day. And I was like, look, just trust me, I will be. And I have been as well. The week after I agreed to a fight, they messaged me with a 4-fight contract offer instead. And I was like, oh, that's even tastier, so it is. So don't get me wrong, it was out of nowhere, but I think there's something in my head thinks that I'm a lot better than I am and a lot bigger than I am. So it is, it's probably from all the years ago stuff. So this doesn't feel too strange to me that way.
Yeah, I mean, you've been around for 10 years now in the sport. You made your amateur debut back in 2012. Does it feel like 10 years?
Feels like 20. No, I'm still the exact same person. Like I'm still flipping a young dreamer, as I would say, and just chasing stuff. Like just always wanted to be a professional athlete, and here I am, and now getting to do a wee bit of a tour of the world with it as well, which was always my dream when it came to fighting, was to get around and see more of the world with it. So
Yeah,
just
you know, a lot of fighters, your 1-0 would be kind of cutting their teeth on the Irish scene, or they might have, say, you know, obviously you fought in Clan Wars, and there's Irish promotions as well. But to sign with KSW so soon in your pro career, was that a shock to you, or you know, did you kind of, when that was presented to you, were you thinking, you know, is this the right time, or?
nah. Honestly, there's just something in me that thinks I'm definitely probably show off in me. Like I'm made for this type of stuff. Like the last fight, my whole saying the whole time was steal the show, because I always do, to be fair. I always have good people behind me and have a good following behind me, so I do. I've been doing the flipping, I don't want to say the viral finishes because it's a lot of bollocks, to be honest. But I've done them. I've went to the World Championships. I've competed with the best. It was Jose Torres is the last guy to beat me. But if you only compete every few years, it's harder to beat me. Even when I was watching, I only watched the Torres fight back for the first time about 3 weeks ago. And I was like, I was actually winning that fight. So I know I'm talented enough. So I am. Nah, it's no shock to me, to be honest. And that's not in a cocky way. It's just me being completely honest with you in terms of how my head works. This is what I expected to do when I was younger, and finally I'm starting to get to see it now.
Yeah, and signing with a promotion like KSW, obviously they've kind of raucous fans. They've really established themselves with a phenomenal foothold in the Polish market. They're bigger than the UFC in Poland, from what
Yeah,
by all accounts. Is it exciting to sign with a promotion like that, and to fight in front of those type of fans?
yeah, big time. I love, like, my favorite thing is like football fan atmosphere. So it is like being on away trips and stuff, and you just love the raucous of it, and the police are the best for it. Now, I'm not going over there to flip and go, hey, I want everyone to hit me. I'm going over to flip and embrace that rowdiness. Like it's what I like. Don't get me wrong, they're probably going to fucking detest me, but I'm going over there to be like, yo, bring it, bring the noise. Like I can't wait to see them in action. Especially because the main event guy, he is a Legia Warsaw fan and seems to bring their ultra section with him, and I just cannot wait to witness that. So I can't.
You might want to duck and cover after the
I
event in
know,
Glory not too long ago.
100%. I may walk out with a Legia top on or something just to be like, don't hit me here.
Yeah, I come in
But
peace. I
nah,
come in peace.
cannot wait to fucking experience that, honestly.
And you were saying you were getting a bit of a grief from some fans ahead of this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, so it was kind of like they're saying my original opponent was some other fella, and for some reason they must have knew that I was signed to fight him, which was never released. And the guy wasn't even said he was going to be in the card, and it was all like he's just cannon fodder and all this type of shit. And then they're just saying like, oh, this guy's only 1-0 and all, and why is he into this? Well, as I was talking to Alan Murphy today, he says by next week you'll be big in Poland if you do what you do, and hopefully I am.
Do you
I
consider
am.
yourself? Do you consider yourself a showman? I feel like someone like you relishes this opportunity.
Listen, don't get me wrong, fighting is fucking terrifying, and I'm not going to be the type of person to walk out and be brash and cocky. There's definitely show off in me, and there has been since like when I was a baby. Like I've always been a bit of a flipping attention seeker, and I've kind of nipped that out of my normal personal life. But I know that when it comes to fighting, there's just that wee bit of me just keeps going, and just can't get rid of it. Just can't get rid of it. Um, I look forward to it. Yeah, yeah, I would. I definitely would.
I want to jump back to getting into MMA. Did I hear correct that it was kind of an altercation outside the cage that kind of led you to stepping inside,
Yeah,
martial arts
yeah,
gym?
that would be true. When I was younger, I've always been a small guy, like not small, but skinny guy. I never ever liked fights. Never ever enjoyed them. The first day of first year, like I don't know if you call it anything different down south when you're 12. Anyway, that year,
Hmm.
I remember this guy wanted to fight me, and I was like, okay. And I never showed up to the fight. I just didn't rock up. I've walked up to a fight to fight someone face to face and turned and ran. It's never been my strong point. But as you say, it's like a bit of a showman. I've always just been like an energy. I would always bring like, a bit of an energy to the room, and people can be annoyed at that. Sort of kind of like it can be like a fly. You just want to flip and swat it away. So I got minor bullying, not flipping major bullying or anything, like just pushed about and stuff. But there was one night this fella about this size flipped me, and I woke up the next day. And don't get me wrong, I was very drunk. And he flipped me face over my nose, flipping tooth through my lip and all that shit. I was like, I can't take this anymore. Like I need to do something. And Kieran Breslin that fights as well.
Yeah.
He's been my best friend since we were babies, like, and he lives 2 doors up. I was like, Kieran, what did I do here? And he's like, well, I've been doing karate for a couple of years now. And Kieran called to my house that day with a set of pads. We sat and done pads in the living room, so I did. And
So
then I
you were
packed
sat there with a
footballing.
concussion in pads.
Yeah, we actually had a genius idea. We're like, if we punch the remember the yellow pages, the book?
Yeah.
We had a genius
Big
idea.
thick
If you
yolk.
punch the yellow pages every day, by the time you got to the last page and took one page out a day, you would have like a strong punch. The first day went poof, my hand just went like that. But
That's a
from
technique that
then,
they've used in gyms for years, is just smashing yellow pages.
so from then went down to it was Danny Core's class, right enough, and really enjoyed like fully really enjoyed it. So I did. I hate the term the rest is history, but to be fair, the rest is history. And the guy that hit me a punch 2 years later came up to me in the street crying and says, I thought you were going to come after me this whole time because I had my first fight like a year after. So I did.
So
And again,
what
I just
happened
never
when
had
you
it.
when he came up to you?
He just started crying. And I was like, are you okay? He's like, I thought you were going to come after me and all. I've been really scared. Like, I just want to know we're sweet. And I was like, yeah, of course we are. Like, it's street fighting is terrifying. Like, I wouldn't go near that type of shit. So I wouldn't. So, yeah, the rest is pretty much history. My family's have a big famous boxing family, like Irish famous boxing family. But I just never chose that route. Never really get offered that route, to be fair. My dad raised me on football or soccer, and that's all I played until I was 15, and that happened.
What could you go into a bit more about your family in boxing?
Yeah, so my great grandfather was a professional boxer. Um, then all his sons ended up opening boxing gyms. His name is actually Jerry McAllister. I'm McAllister McNally. Um, but he fought under the name Patsy Quinn because he was not allowed to box via my great grandmother. so we used a different name for when she read the papers.
No
So
way.
yeah, true story. Then a
That's
load of his
amazing.
sons became boxers. A load of his grandsons became boxers. On the other side of the family, there is John McNally, who just recently died there. He was the first ever Irish Olympian boxer with a medal. So he won that in Helsinki in 1952.
Wow.
So he did. So there's that as well. And then a cool picture, if you've got a computer handy, a cool picture you can see is if you search in Sonny Liston, Belfast.
I'll do this on the fly here
Yeah, no problem. So
as
what
you're
the
walking me
picture
through it.
is Sonny Liston was in Liverpool, I think, at the time, and he was saying to everyone about how many kids he had. And there was no boxers had more kids than him. And some fella says to him, "I know a boxer has more kids than you." And he says, "Patsy Quinn." And so Sonny Liston goes, "I'll bet you so many £100 back then," which is massive. And he came over to Belfast to see Patsy Quinn, and there, lo and behold, they're all my
There's
great
about
aunts.
30 people in this photo.
That's all his kids. So Sonny Liston came down to our house, and apparently he was world champion at the time as well, I think. So it was absolutely insane. But yeah, that's a lot of boxing in the family.
That's incredible. Yeah, a real strong fighting tradition in the family.
Yeah, 100%. And then my dad just decided to raise me on football. So
He's like, fuck that.
I've had this talent for so long, and I had to wait till I was 15.
Yeah. So, you get into fighting, and you mentioned yourself, you've had some viral moments over the years. I
Yeah,
was watching the video series that was done about you on your road to the IMOF World Championships in
yeah,
2015. A great little series for anyone who wants to go back and watch it. A young Carl McNally, but you talked about um losing motivation. So you had that Rolling Thunder armbar that went
yeah,
completely viral. You had BJ Penn and a whole heap of other stars sharing it out, Bas Rutten talking about it. I looked on SevereMMA, there's something like a couple of 100,000 views on it
yeah.
at the moment. But you lost motivation after that. So to then, you said you were going to learn from it. So then you make your pro debut, what, 7 years later or something like this. And you have what Caposa on Twitter described as a helicopter neck crank. So you've gone viral again. Did you learn from it? Did you lose motivation? What's going on?
No, so what happened was I knew I was never going to go pro because I had a bit of a health issue. Not issue, but a health scare in my head. And so I knew that I would never go pro because of the MRI and stuff. So I was just faking it that whole time. Like, so I wasn't just bluffing about and seeing how far I could take stuff for a laugh. And then about, I think it was 23 or 24, finally went to the doctors and got checked up and stuff. Lo and behold, I was actually grand. And from then I was like, oh, now I can actually chase this a bit more. So I could. So, but
Do
in
you, do
terms
you
of,
mind me asking what the health scare was? Was it just a brain
yeah,
scan
of
or?
course. I've done the interview with Lydia Dedalls on it, so I did. After I won the Cage Warriors amateur title. Really what it was, I had a lump on my balls from I was about 15 and never got it checked. I was too scared to say anything. And I mean, I lived in dread for about, what's that, about 8 years, 9 years. Lived in full blown dread of it and just considered myself terminally ill. Like I was like,
Jesus.
I'm dead. I'm dead. So every time I fought, from even before I started fighting, I was literally going, I'm dead here, so it's grand. Gave up in school and all that shit. Just didn't give a fuck about school and stuff because I was just happy to flip and make it to the next day type thing. So I knew that because if you want, I nearly didn't go to Vegas because I was going to refuse to get bloods done in case, just in my young head, I'd have avoided anything that was to do with the big C word. I was just like, no, fuck, I don't want to know about it. So I wasn't even going to go getting bloods done for Vegas, even though it's just Hep B, Hep C, and HIV. And then with the MRI, I was like, there's no chance I'm going to go pro because I'm not getting an MRI done. Simple as.
That's
And then it
mad.
just,
Like, so you're just kind
yeah,
of living, assuming the worst for years and years.
yeah, yeah.
Did anyone else know? Like, had you shared it with anyone at all, or
No one, no one.
even not
Um,
even family or anything?
no. First person I told was my coach, Danny Core.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, it was fucking mental. Like, I look back on it and go, why the fuck didn't you just go to the doctors in the first day? Um, but hey, it is what it is. Simple as,
but
like.
all good now. So I'm assuming
Yeah,
you finally went and got checked
yeah,
out.
just a few screws loose now. That's all it is.
But so, having gone viral again in your pro debut, um, was there any lack of motivation this time? Did you fall away from training, or were
No,
his head
I
screwed on
think
now?
the best thing I'd done after this one was I looked back at where it all went wrong last time. And the first thing I'd done the day, I think it was the day, not the day after, but the day after that, it hadn't even really gone viral at that stage. I seen it going slightly viral. Like I seen a couple of things starting to go. And I was like, I've fucking seen this before. This has happened before. And just deleted all my social media for a week. I just went, I am not getting sucked into that absolute bollocks. Because all it is, people are going to praise you for a week tops. And it's going to build you up and build you up. And the Rolling Thunder, I was fucking everyone like in Belfast that when I was going out was all, hey, fucking this. And it's an amateur fighter, like, which is more mental than I've seen. In my head must have been about fucking that size. And all done was flipping party, as you do, like, you know what I mean? And this time I was like, nah, just don't do it. As simple as. And apart from that, just got back into training. And I don't get me wrong, I had a wee couple of like a month or two hiatus where me and Kieran went to Tenerife and stuff like that. So I did.
Kieran's Instagram, not yours.
Yeah. No, I went and done that and went a bit mad, but as soon as I got the word on KSW, I was back at it again. And then it's really good timing now because now Kieran's fighting a month later and the teammates are all fighting. I think we've got Kieran Maskey's on the week after me as well, so we'll be at that. And I can't not help them as out. Like they fucking put their body on the line for me. And then Jack Core and Emma Core, Cage Conflict, more Clan Wars. We've got a lot of fighters coming through at the minute.
Yeah, sounds
And
like a great time for the gym for Danny
yeah,
Gore and everyone involved in the gym. I wanted to ask you, it was 3 years in between your last amateur fight and your pro debut. Why was it so long?
COVID.
Well,
COVID was the big
that's a
one.
fair enough answer, isn't
Yeah, so that's a
it?
good one. So I was actually meant to fight on Cage Warriors in Belfast pre-COVID. Um, I was actually booked to go to Mjolnir in Iceland to train for a week and then fight on Cage Warriors. And then the pandemic just came. It was actually the day I was meant to go. Everything just started shutting down, and the gym sent me a message and stuff. They're like, "Look, we're not really training now because of this, so we are." And from then, that was it. Really, it was absolutely shite.
Yeah, it was fairly shite. Fairly shit for a few
There's
years.
some days I'm going, "Fuck, I wouldn't mind the pandemic back here."
I wouldn't mind watching The Last Dance again. Yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
Tiger King. Listen, you're facing Milos Melchert. A guy's he's 2-0, undefeated as a pro, two finishes, I believe. Also, have you looked him up much? How do you see yourself stacking up against him?
To be honest, I don't really watch fights at all. If I try to study an opponent, I just find myself skipping through. I just find watching them quite boring in general. Watched his, just looking forward to fighting him. Really, that's pretty much it. There's nothing. He looks like a good fighter. Don't get me wrong. He's gonna have the crowd with him more than likely. But I just want to meet him in the octagon and let's knock.
And
You know what
I
I
know
mean?
you've talked about kind of previously sometimes not being up for fights and sometimes being very motivated. Where are you this time going into this fight as far as motivation levels go?
We'll see this week. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling. I've never been excited, really excited. Normally I just hate everything about it. So I do. It's brutal. It might have been because it was summer here, but I've just felt really good this whole camp. The last one I remember getting to like Groundhog Day, I was like, fuck me. I've been doing the same thing over and over and over again. Every night I was going training, going to Tesco's, going home, and just looking, going, I'm pretty sure I've done this before. And it's like, I've done it the past fucking 8 weeks. This time I've enjoyed everything about it. I'm just looking forward to it now. I feel like
Is it because of
I,
the opportunity?
it could be, it could be. Um, I'd say it's a really probably, but I don't know. I just feel completely different. Kind of, it's kind of feel like a man for the first time. I feel like every other time, kind of a boy, young man. Not even. I don't think I've ever been a young man, to be honest. I think I'm a bit of a aged. And this time, I'm just going. You know what? I actually feel. I just feel everything taken at the right time. Now, that doesn't mean I'm a man just. I'm still a young man living in my grandparents' house. So yeah.
Look, we've all been there. What are you hoping to show, Carl, in this fight and in this opportunity in your KSW debut?
That I belong there. With the 4-fight contract, you know, if I had trained the way I've trained normally a long time ago, had I got my balls checked, I would be a lot further than where I am now. So there's just been so many stops and starts and stops and starts. With the 4-fight contract, I know I'm not the fighter that I'm going to be in 4 fights' time. This has given me an opportunity to grow even more as a fighter. So I'm taking this as like stage 1. This is like Star Wars: A New Hope. You know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't be wearing the black jumper because that's for Return of the Jedi, but I'm getting there. Like, I just feel everything taking. My head is actually starting to want to learn again. I feel like for a while I was the same fighter constantly. This time I feel like a bit of a different fighter and just more growth, like just constant growth. And that's all I'm looking over the next couple of fights is just growing as a fighter, becoming more of a man, being a leader in the gym, just inspiring young people around where I live and stuff. Like, there's fuck all to do around here. Don't get me wrong, there's football teams and all that, but I want to show people like fucking I'm from Glengormley as well. Just you're going to see me on a big show here. Like, this is a massive show. This is 5,000 capacity in this place. The lights, the cameras, everything about KSW is massive, and hopefully, like, when young kids watch that, if their mums let them, they will be fucking going, I can do that, I can do that. And that's what I want to do. I want to inspire as much as I can and just grow finally into the person that people thought I was going to be when I done the fucking Rolling Thunder or when I done whatever. I just want to go for it. I really do just want to go for it. I'm not going to come on here like, I'm going to knock him out in the first, because if I don't knock him out in the first, it looks stupid, and that's it. I'm going in Saturday, 6 o'clock our time back home. If you tune in, I will be standing in a cage facing another man, and I will fight him. And I'm going to show the best of my skills that day.
King Carl McNally. Last
Well,
question.
also, we're going to get rid of the King Carlos, right?
Okay, so I was going to ask about this.
Down with the monarchy. Like, come on, the fuck.
So we're dropping the nickname.
I just came back, and it's just because everyone is associates with it. You can keep it.
Because you loved watching that series of Ahead of the IMAS. You were all about it.
Oh, 100%, because I was an absolute cockhead back then. If you look at any of my social media from the past fucking 10 years, you'd think he's got fucking issues. Like, even Just Carl McNally is fighting on Saturday.
That'd be a great nickname, Just Carl McNally.
Carl. That's all it is.
We'll send it over to Alan Murphy and get that in the books. So either Just Carl or else you're open for business for a new nickname perhaps as well.
100%. If King Carlos kicks off again, fire away, but just don't think I'm walking about like I would have 10 years ago, because 10 years ago I'd walked about Glengormley with a fucking crown.
Yeah. So it would look great though on the walkout.
100%.
Actually, come here. Are you gonna have a body paint tattoo or a sponsor body paint?
Right. So here's the thing: we're only new to this shit. You know what I mean? Me, Danny, and Kieran are going over here. Like, we don't really know what happens, but you can rest assured.
Get like Centra or Spar.
No, the Spar in Glengormley is going to fucking better be on me, because I'm spending a fortune in there every day. We will be inquiring about what's going on with the body paint, because I want body paint next time.
So none this time.
Does it come up? No, we haven't got any this time.
You should just make up a sponsor.
Just a big permanent marker.
Just right, whatever you want, like just the gym name or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Honestly, hopefully next time I wouldn't mind some body paint. So the sponsors.
Right. Progression anyway. So we get the body paint next time.
Return of the Jedi. Body paint, The Empire Strikes Back, kid. Come on.
And then as we go along each episode, one step closer towards that KSW bantamweight title.
Yeah, and then there'll be a big fat crown again. So
Yeah.
it's King fucking Carlos.
Well, Carl, I really appreciate the time today. You can tune in on Saturday to watch Carl McNally face Milos Melchert. Gonna get those names wrong all the time. KSW, you can get it on KSW website and also the KSW app about 6 o'clock. And tune in. We'll have it up on SevereMMA.com. Carl, thanks for the time, and we will chat again soon.
Andy, an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
No bother.